Welcome to iTCA, iTeachCybersecurity Academy, where we make cybersecurity simple, useful, and practical for everyone. You've now reached the final module of the Introduction to Data Communication Beginner's Course, Network Protocols and Traffic Flow. In the earlier modules, you learned what data communication is, how data is transmitted, and how networks are designed. Now, we bring everything together by focusing on the rules that govern communication and the patterns data follows as it moves across networks. This module completes the foundation. By understanding protocols and traffic flow, you move from knowing how networks are built to understanding how they behave, and how that behavior can reveal attacks. Every digital interaction, loading a website, sending an email, logging into a system, follows strict communication rules called protocols. These protocols define how data is formatted, transmitted, acknowledged, and received. Attackers don't need to break hardware to cause damage. Instead, they exploit these rules by spoofing identities, hijacking sessions, intercepting traffic, or overwhelming systems with malicious requests. This is why understanding traffic flow is so important. When you know what normal communication looks like, abnormal behavior becomes visible. This final module is designed to help you think like a defender by teaching you how networks actually talk. We begin with the protocols that form the backbone of network communication. Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP, is designed for reliability. It ensures data arrives completely and in the correct order, confirming delivery between sender and receiver. Because of this structured communication, TCP traffic can be monitored and analyzed to detect suspicious patterns, such as connection flooding attacks. In contrast, User Datagram Protocol, or UDP, prioritizes speed over reliability. It sends data without confirmation, making it faster but less predictable. Attackers often take advantage of this behavior in denial-of-service attacks, where large volumes of traffic are sent without expecting a response. Understanding the difference between TCP and UDP allows you to recognize how different applications behave and how attackers choose their targets. At the center of all communication is the Internet Protocol, or IP. Every packet carries a source and destination address, allowing data to move across networks. Because IP addresses can be forged, attackers often hide their identity or impersonate trusted systems. Monitoring IP behavior is essential for detecting scans and unauthorized access. ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol, supports network diagnostics, such as checking whether a system is reachable. While useful, it can be abused for reconnaissance or flooding attacks. ARP, Address Resolution Protocol, which maps IP addresses to physical devices on a local network, introduces another critical risk. When ARP is manipulated, attackers can intercept traffic silently through man-in-the-middle attacks. This highlights how even internal networks require security awareness. As traffic moves up the communication stack, port numbers determine which application or service receives data or packets. Web traffic, email services, and file transfers each rely on specific ports. For example, HTTP uses port 80, HTTPS uses port 443, and email servers have their own ports. Open or misconfigured ports are common entry points for attackers, which is why port scanning is often the first step in an intrusion attempt. At the application layer, protocols interact directly with users. HTTP and HTTPS enable web communication, with HTTPS adding encryption to protect sensitive data. FTP supports file transfers but exposes data when not properly secured. Email protocols such as SMTP, POP3, and IMAP are frequent targets for phishing and credential theft. DNS, which translates names into IP addresses, is widely abused for redirection, spoofing, and covert data movement. Each of these protocols is essential, and each introduces security risk if not understood and monitored. Protocols define the rules, but traffic flow reveals behavior. Network traffic moves in packets, each containing control information, headers, and actual data, payload. By examining how packets move, how often they appear, and where they are going, defenders can identify unusual activity. every protocol has legitimate use and potential abuse. Attackers can flood services, DOS attacks, hijack sessions, session fixation, intercept credentials, man in the middle, and exploit misconfigurations. Recognizing normal versus abnormal protocol behavior is central to cybersecurity defense. Normal traffic follows predictable patterns. Abnormal traffic may signal malware spreading, unauthorized access attempts, data exfiltration, or reconnaissance activity. Recognizing these deviations is one of the most powerful skills in cybersecurity. To truly understand traffic behavior, cybersecurity professionals rely on packet capturing. This involves recording and analyzing network traffic to observe how protocols are being used in real time or after an incident. Packet capture can be performed inline, allowing for immediate response, or passively, enabling quiet monitoring and forensic investigation. Tools such as Wireshark and TCP dump allow analysts to inspect packet headers, examine payloads, and identify suspicious patterns. Packet capture turns theory into visibility, making invisible attacks visible. In this final module, you learned how network protocols control communication, how attackers exploit those rules, how traffic flows across networks, and how packet analysis reveals abnormal behavior. You now understand that cybersecurity is not just about blocking attacks. It is about understanding communication deeply enough to recognize when something is wrong. With this module, you have completed the Introduction to Data Communication Beginners course. You now understand how data moves, how networks are structured, how protocols function, and how traffic behavior exposes threats. This knowledge forms the foundation for every advanced topic in networking and cybersecurity. As you continue your learning journey, remember this: every attack leaves a trail, and every defense begins with understanding communication. Thank you for learning with iTCA, iTeachCybersecurity Academy. Keep practicing, keep observing, and keep asking how data moves, because that's where cybersecurity truly begins.